Here at the American Community School of Abu Dhabi, we were able to bring in some of the best equipment for educational purposes in the world for doing digital manufacturing. And that's just a little bit different than doing the traditional wood shop kind of manufacturing. Digital manufacturing is where you're building out projects based off of digital input through a computer, and the processes of cutting or molding are done by digital manufacturing equipment. So we have laser cutters that take focused light, and they're able to cut through materials such as wood and create objects that would otherwise be unable to be produced by human hand. We have a PLA spool-fed 3D printer. It allows us to build models and objects in 3 dimensions. We have a resin-based 3-dimensional printer, and what that does is it uses UV light to be able to cure resin as the object pulls out of the fluid. It is curing and making this 3-dimensional object. We also have metal casting materials so that we can take low temperature metals like powder and make a 3-dimensional cast of that. We have a scroll saw. We have a sander so that we can finish out the cuts that were made on the other pieces of equipment. We also have equipment for doing soldering and for building out robotics and circuitry. So it allows students to then create objects that would that become interactive and are of an electronics kind of sense. We have the ability for students to take in, create textiles and do e-textiles where they can take and put circuits into clothing.
So right now we're in the idea room where the designing happens. This is where students do their research and design their products. So the students run through the design process where they start off by designing initial prototypes. So for example, for here we have a student's project where he started off with his first prototype design, where he was designing a lamp, and this was his first sketch prototype. He then moved on to another idea where he quickly prototyped this sort of diamond shaped design. This is third, fourth, and then finally moved on to his final design where he made the finished product, or a scaled model of the finished product. So ultimately, this is what this room is all for, is for students to realize and create a finished product through a series of prototyping and testing and designing for a problem or a specific need. In this room, the students are going to be learning about the design process and what are the different stages of the design process. So it's basically, at ACS, in our curriculum, the design process is broken up into 4 key stages where students identify a problem and research how other people have addressed that problem. They then move into the designing and prototyping. They test and evaluate their prototypes. They finally make the final design based on what they've found were the issues and how to improve their products, and then present a final product. Once they've designed their product in this room, they then move into the fabrication room where they can actually realize and produce real finished products.
Really, there's a lot of opportunities, and the Fab Lab is intended for people to make the realities come to life.